first up is going to be Kavasar. You guys are going to correct me in the comments. Kavasar? I've never even tried to say that name out loud. Wow. Kavasir? Anyways, summoning the bee minions. This thing gets so freaking annoying. Thanks so much for checking out the video. Today we're going to be going through the top 10 heroes to limit break in yellow. I'm going to be going from C range all the way to A+, going through every single 5-star, as well as included some very important 4 stars and 3 stars, so you're gonna want to watch the whole video. Starting this off at C range is going to be Guardian Owl. Unfortunately, this character never really picked off, running off at very slow, and is contingent upon dead allies. Not a really good combination. Next up in the C range is going to be Leonidas. This guy just deals damage to a single target. They've tried to buff him up. Unfortunately, there's just a whole lot better characters available. Next up on the list is going to be our B minuses. It's going to be Justice. She deals damage to everything and blinds, but at slow speed, we just have other characters that are just better. Next up is going to be Justice Costume in that B minus range, dealing damage, but again, another character that increases per each dead ally, so you don't really want to be utilizing that skill too much. Next up on the list for B minus is going to be Norns, a character that runs really well on Mythic Titans, but besides that, not a really character that you want to be using. And then finally, before you limit break anything, you got to take a few minutes and check out the sponsor of this video, Raid Shadow Legends. This epic dark fantasy RPG has taken over the world by storm, giving you intense gameplay on both your mobile device as well as your PC. With over 600 unique champions, you gotta download Raid right now to experience a fresh new taste on mobile gaming. The most epic update that they've ever done is the Hydra. This freaking thing has 6 heads that can straight up destroy all your homies. The Head of Suffering is all about making you suffer with a special new effect called Pain Link. The Head of Decay makes you lose max HP every time you heal. Head of Wrath will weaken and put taunt on your team, super annoying. Head of Torment uses True Fear to make you skip turns and lose access to your skills. Head of Blight loves to use Poison Cloud and leech your team to protect other heads. Head of Mischief enjoys stealing all the buffs from all your champions. Combined, all of these heads are designed to give you an insane difficulty that requires your clan to work together to get amazing rewards. You won't be disappointed with this update, where you have to use skill over auto attacking. What I love about Raid is the brand new Guardian Ring. This feature allows you to easily level up your champions. In addition, also fix a major issue with duplicate and unwanted legendary champions. Take your extras and craft them into specific legendary champions. I enjoy jumping into 3v3 battles and being able to utilize tons of different champions combinations. If the Giant Hydra isn't enough for you, they also are giving away super limited edition champion to every player in the game. You might recognize this esports legends and Navi superstar Simple. Between now and January 28th, 2022, he is available for free for both new and old players in Raid. Just log into the game for 7 days with tons of festive activities planned, special events, and new fusions. Now is the perfect time to download Raid Shadow Legends. All you gotta do, click on the link in the description or scan my QR code, and you will receive an epic champion Burgess, 200,000 silver, 1 energy refill, 1 XP boost, and 1 ancient shard, so you can summon an awesome champion as soon as you get in the game. All your treasure will be waiting for you right over here. Thanks again, Raid Shadow Legends. Our B minus range is going to be Rock. Unfortunately, the only thing that this character really brings is the dispel effect to all allies. Guys, make sure you subscribe to the channel. If you're not, I see a whole bunch of people watch my videos, but they're not subscribed. So click that subscribe button and also turn notifications on. I should also mention, I've done a video on all of these, so you can click on that link as well too. That'll bring you over to the other videos. Going up on the list now, we have our B range characters. First up is going to be a classic Vivica. She's really awesome, but again, another thing that got outclassed, does help out being able to revive and then dispelling all the ailments. Next up on the list for Bs is going to be Rana. She just is kind of just average just in general, just not that amazing of a character. Next up on the list is going to be Ranveer. This one is maybe a little bit more important if you don't have any other characters that are going to be doing Titan grades. So if you don't have Miki, Tarlak, or Wukong potentially, maybe you want to limit break Ranveer because you need a Titan hero. But other than that, not that great. Next up on the list is going to be Bae Young, another character that we have an issue to where we have better characters that are going to be using blind. Is helpful on Titans, but besides that, not my first character choice. Next up in the Bs is going to be Rana Costume, just a little bit of an upgraded version of the regular Rana, but besides that, not a character I'm looking to limit break first. And then next up, this is one that is fringe, potentially going into B+, but I left it at a B. This is Caitlyn. She's kind of pretty cool. Unfortunately, she just gets kind of outclassed. She is contingent on other effects being on the enemies for the buffs. So not an all-around well-used character. Next up on the list is going to be the B+. First up is going to be June. Regular June deals a sizable amount of damage, really great on the Titans for 6 turns on the blind on an individual target. Next up on this list, this is very close. I really want to give it a higher grade, but still a very solid character. Musashi, gotten an upgrade a little bit, dealing damage and then also healing all the normal damage dealt. Kind of an interesting character. I do like that he's a rogue class as well. Very, very interesting to see this character. B+ going to be Guinevere. Unfortunately, there's just been so many other characters that have been out in yellow that just service better as tanks, and she's just essentially more outclassed by everything. So yeah, unfortunately, she drops a ton. Next up on the list is going to be Malausi. Malausi is very, very amazing on offense. However, struggles quite a bit on defense as well as Titans, but a solid character regardless, still at a B+. Next up on the list is going to be Mika, setting yourself up to where you're going to be getting the mana generation and also the shared damage. Obviously going through the 3x mana charge is pretty cool, and the defense, but of the ninjas, probably not my most excited one that I'm about. Next up on the B+ is going to be Leonidas Costume, an amazing character on Titans, but besides that, not something I'm going to want to be throwing in on my defense, and there are some times on offense, so I just struggle a little bit there, but not my first choice. Next up on the list is going to be Thor. This was a character that we had high expectations. Unfortunately, he just doesn't fire off his charges enough times to really make a ton of usage. So he is an interesting character, but he just never got to his potential, but still a solid character, B+. Next up on the list is going to be Urias, a character that is praised upon characters that create minions, but besides that, not my first choice on other things, but can be absolutely amazing on offense. Next up on the list is going to be Divana as well, another character that preys upon minions, but if they don't have minions, she struggles a little bit. I do love the minion that she creates though. Next up on our list are going to be the A-minuses. So first up on the list is going to be Delilah, an average healer, healing all, but also setting yourself up with the fighter ability, which is so important in the healing ability. Next up on the B+ is going to be Anatel, a character that is absolutely amazing on offense, being able to steal all the mana. There's definitely situations where she proves really, really well. Does struggle a little bit on Titans and defense. Next up on this list, a character that has definitely slid a little bit is going to be Poseidon, dealing damage. Does help out with resisting of the negative mana effects for 3 turns, but besides that, he does slip a little bit. Going to be Neith, a character that deals damage to all enemies, reduces the mana as well as blinds at average speed. I do like Neith. I have her emblemed up and I really use her quite a bit. Next up, Vivica Costume, being able to recover a ton of health, but the big draw to being able to use her is the defensive down for 4 turns and also the dispelling of the buffs. A character that has slipped again a little bit is going to be June Costume, deals a ton of damage at 488, plus he's a fighter, and then also sets up with the accuracy decrease. Guardian Gazelle, another character that was very close to going into the A-, absolutely amazing on offense, but does prove to be a little bit of a situation to where you can't be giving your guys a positive buff because that does go against her, but you can build teams that work really, really well with her. Next up on the list is going to be Sif, another character that got downgraded a little bit with the new update on the defensive strategies. She was absolutely broken when she set herself up to make it so counterattack and they reduce damage to all of your allies if you put her in a specific spot, but you can't really break her that much, but still a pretty solid character overall, especially being a rogue. Next up is going to be Euda. I love this character at A-. She's just dealing a ton of damage, and then if they have boosted health, she just slaughters them completely. So I really like Euda quite a bit. Next up on the list is going to be the new hero of the month that just came out, Hinitra. She's absolutely amazing against Outbreak, being able to set yourself up to where you don't have the temporary reduction in the HP, and then also resist the special skills, so you never get yourself messed over. Not to mention she's running fast, very situational, but in terms of being on a defense in Titans, she does definitely struggle a bit. So guys, if you guys are liking this, again, make sure you subscribe, turn those notifications on, and actually let me know in the comments which character you plan on limit breaking. So going into our next list here, we are going to be going through the 3 stars and the 4 stars. Again, if you have these characters, I would definitely recommend limit breaking them. So first up on our list is going to be Kalani Costume, a character in yellow that is really important because she gives the attack increase, which isn't in pretty much any of the other elements in terms of yellow. They don't have any other characters that are really giving attack increase, which can be absolutely amazing against Titans. So one of those cheap, easy ones to limit break. Next up on the list for the 3 stars, these are the A's in the 3 stars, is Malia. I really love the critical chance. Again, another situation where it's a yellow that is giving a special unique ability, and the critical chance at fast speed is definitely awesome. Next up in the A's for the 3 stars is going to be Candy, situation where she just heals so much life, and if they have less than 50, they're going to 50 no matter what, and then also regenerating health over 3 turns. I really love this healer in 3 star. Next up on the A's is going to be Poppy, a situation where she just deals a substantial amount of damage and then can potentially just wreck them with the additional minor damage. I really love Poppy. Next up is going to be our A 4 stars. So first up for the A's and the 4 stars is going to be Li Zhu, a character that used to be used so much in the very beginning of this game as a tank. Before we had ascension items to bring you a 4-star ascension for your 5 stars. People used to run Li Zhu and would just absolutely devastate. Really awesome character, works really well in the tournaments as well. Next up on the A's for the 4 stars is going to be Mist, a character that just deals damage to target nearby enemies, also helps up with the immunity, and then also the special skill. Just does a ton of different things at fast speed. I love Mist in the 4 stars. Next up on the list is going to be Wukong, again an A 4 star. If you don't have other Titan heroes such as Miki, Tarlak, Ranveer, this is pretty much an absolute must that you're going to want to limit break because very, very effective against the Titans to get really high scores there. And then this one is one of my personal favorites in the 4 stars is Lady Wollerton, a fast speed healer, recovering health 40% for all allies. You have a little bit of a situation on the mana, but just love the fast speed. 40% is really awesome. So next up is going to be our A+ 3 stars. These are pretty much absolute musts to limit break and very, very effective. If you've ran into any sort of tournaments, you've probably seen these characters quite a bit. So first up is going to be Kavasar. You guys are going to correct me in the comments. Kavasar? I've never even tried to say that name out loud. Wow. Kavasar? Anyways, summoning the bee minions. This thing gets so freaking annoying. You guys know how annoying this gets to be. You don't think that it's going to be really effective, but then you just get a whole bunch of bee minions, gain a whole bunch of life essentially, and yeah, the poison damage gets really, really out of control. Next up in the A pluses for the 3 stars is a brand new character, Bertolf. Absolutely essential for the Titans. You could potentially remove the Ranveer or Wukong situation and just run Bertolf. I personally am using Bertolf on the 14-star purple Titans. Next up on this list in the A pluses is a brand new character, Sally. This dude just deals a ton of damage. You don't expect it, you probably won't expect it, but 270% damage to the target and then chaining through everything else is going to be really, really annoying. You're going to see this thing in the tournaments, especially with the very fast. Yeah, he's going to deal a lot of damage. Sally looks like a dude, whatever. Next up is going to be our A+ 4 stars, and this one is really important. Starting us off is going to be Guardian Jackal. Again, another situation to where it's a must use against purple titans, being able to do very fast damage, which is really amazing, and then giving the defensive down against holy, and also a sizable amount of damage. Not to mention, Guardian Jackal has a very high attack power for a 4-star, so an absolute must, especially if you don't have Leonidas costume. A great character to limit break. A+. This one has been my personal favorite. I use actually Wukong costume on my war teams a substantial amount. So as an A+ 4-star, you don't think it's too much, but 210 damage to all enemies, and then just giving himself a defensive down for 3 turns is not that big of a deal. But 210 to all enemies, especially having 728 attack power, you throw some emblems on him, you limit break him, he does a sizable amount of damage. I do love Wukong costume. Next up, you guys probably have definitely seen this character. You see him in wars, even at high levels. Golem Bursty, the big old warthog pig armor dude. He boosts the health, he deals a whole bunch of damage, he increases the attack. Yeah, he does pretty much everything, and especially super annoying in the tournaments. Guys, again, please make sure you subscribe, turn those notifications on, and I will be releasing the last video in this segment, which is going to be the green limit breakers. I promise you guys, I absolutely love that. So diving into the top pretty much 10, we're going to start off with our A's. These are the A 5-stars that I would highly recommend limit breaking. This character has slipped a little bit. It's going to be Drake Fong, sitting in the A's, dealing damage, fast speed, target nearby enemies, blinding them. Used to be a very staple character, was very good for a long time. Next up in the A's is going to be Akarog, dealing damage, does have the whole randomness factor to him, which doesn't really count for too much. He's a pretty solid character, but not my very first choice, but still, I could see a lot of people potentially doing him. White Rabbit in the A's, dealing damage at fast speed, and then also gives the defensive down for 4 turns. So that's really great. Again, a situation for Titans, really amazing offense, and then a solid character on defense as well too. This is another brand new character, Zakina, dealing the damage and then also the random enemy target. If it is for dark, it's going to be dealing more, and then also the defensive down for 3 turns. Absolutely essential against the Titans. I love this character. Next up is going to be Director Zuri. This one might be a little bit controversial. Maybe you guys might want her to do an A+. I think she sits just fine in the A, being able to recover the health as well as throw the clown minion, and then also cleansing. Really awesome character there. This might be a surprise to some people, but on this list, Inari made A, and I was very close to giving it an A+. I do love Inari. I have limit broken. I've thrown emblems on her. I can't limit break her yet, but she's been absolutely amazing on my defense, being able to deal damage to all enemies, and then the dodge is just really critical. I love Inari. Next up, again, another character. Gosh, I was so close to putting this to A+. But we're going to see the potential. This is going to be Penolite. Being able to deal damage to all enemies at the 245 is definitely a sizable amount. If they have any minions, they're going to be paying for sure. So very close to an A+, but the only thing that I'm considering is if this character does get out of control, you don't have to bring minion heroes against her and or him, but still absolutely amazing. Very close in A+. All right, so now getting into the A+, first up on this list is going to be Sir Roastly. Just, he deals so much damage. You don't expect it. Again, another character, chain throwing it. You don't really care about his attack down for the 3 turns because you've literally annihilated their whole team at average speed. Yeah, I love this character, especially being in a paladin. Next up on the list in the A+ is going to be Feline, a character that deals damage. What I love about her mana situation to giving the mana generation down is any characters that are at that same speed are going to be getting the mana generation down. So if they're running a whole bunch of fast characters, everybody's going to get the mana generation down. And then next up on the list, might not be too surprised about this guy, was in just about every single person's defense, Odin, being able to be able to deal the damage and then additional damage if you've got more yellow shields. Just a great, awesome character on defense. Next up on the list for the A pluses is Professor Lidenbrock. Yeah, she runs pretty much at average speed, cleanses everything, boosts your HP, and also heals. It's just gross. She continuously heals as well too. She's absolutely amazing. And then Big Daddy Wolfgang coming in, what I would probably consider the #1 spot right now, dealing damage to all enemies, sizable amount of attack power, also reducing damage, and then also does the boosted health after the 4 turns. I absolutely love Wolfgang, and not to mention, this guy is running as a fighter, so being able to revive and then deal damage and then also reducing all received damage. Yeah, so Wolfgang, absolutely amazing. I really love this character. Guys, let me know in the comments, did I get this right? Did I get this wrong? Again, make sure you subscribe, turn those notifications on, and I'll see you on the next video. Merry Christmas, you filthy animal. And a Happy New Year.